All right. Well, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. We're excited to have you. My name is Lindsay Peterson. I help out with the Texas chapter, specifically here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us and to mention a few items before I introduce Jan. So I'll put this in the chat, or I just put it in the chat really, but we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of our time today. And if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box during that Q&A time and I'll read the questions aloud for Jan to answer. And I'll also put the link to purchase Jan's book in the chat and at the end of the lecture. And so those books will be signed with the name of the person making the purchase. And if you'd like another name written in the book or like other personalization, we have the email in the chat there that you can coordinate that. And I will ask if everyone just can make sure their microphones are off and their video is turned off, we'll be all set to go. And that way, you know, the screen is presenting Jan, and then I'll be sharing my screen as well. So with that, all this being said, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Jan Showers. Jan is a Dallas-based interior designer and has been designing for clients over 30 years. Her magazine credits alone place her in the highest echelon of designers. Architectural Digest named Jan Showers and Associates to the AD 100, its preeminent directory to the international world of design. Aside from Jan's interior design business, she has a showroom that is open to the public and is celebrating 25 years in the Dallas Design District. Jan sells curated vintage and antique items, as well as her To the Trade furniture collection, the Jan Showers collection, which can be directly purchased from her showroom. She has written 3 books, Glamorous Rooms, Glamorous Retreats, and her newest book, Glamorous Living, which was released in fall of 2020. Abrams has published all of these books. So we are honored to have you here today, Jan, and I will turn it over to you and start sharing my screen so that we can see all the lovely photos from your book.
Great, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I'm very excited about this book. It's the third of the books that I've done. The first 2, I was going to tell you a little bit about them. I believe we can go to the next slide. That's the cover of the current book, Glamorous Living. The first book was Glamorous Rooms, and I think it's in its 13th printing now. I know it's 13 or 14. Anyway, from Abrams, and it is a book I wanted to write about my thoughts on doing everything, how to really start a room, how to approach a room from living room to every room in your house, and that's actually one of my very favorite books. The second book, Glamorous Retreats, is all about the people we decorated for their second, third, sometimes 6th home somewhere. And that was a fun project because it was all over the place. And it shows you how different the retreats are. And that was really a fun book to do. And then I had been asked to write a book about lifestyle and living. And I really, you can see one was done in 2009, the second one was 2013, and this was last year, 2020. And honestly, I have to have a reason and think of a reason. And with this, it was about so many wonderful projects we've done in the last 6-7 years. And so we had beautiful photography, and it just made sense to do this. So we decided to base it on glamorous living. And that meant how people live and how they go through their doing their homes. So let's go to the next one. So we started with a lot of nostalgia photographs of my family. This is just a smattering. I think there's probably, I don't know, probably 50 photographs over the years going back to probably the 70s. And then I'm dating myself here. And then we can go to the next one. So you have a lot of that. And then as each chapter starts, we did lifestyle photographs that were taken at our Dallas townhouse. This particular one was taken in our Dallas townhouse. And then the other, we also photographed in the, our country house. This is a beautiful project that was created by Hal Thompson, who was a preeminent architect in Dallas. In the early, I believe this house was built in 1905. And the people who bought it really appreciated it, and that was so great. And this is the entry hall that was redone for that house. The next two are historic homes. The one on the left is actually our home in the country, which is about an hour from here. And that was created, the architect was Goodwin and Tatum. And they did lots and lots of houses in Dallas as well. The one next to it is one in Austin that I particularly love. It's in Pemberton Heights. Okay, and then the next one is called Gracious Living. This is all living rooms. And the one on the left is also our house in the country. And it is looking into the dining room. And there are lots and lots of antiques there that we found over the years. And that's my husband and me chatting after a party. And this is also the Hal Thompson house I mentioned earlier, which I love this area. It's very simple, has beautiful art, but it's I think it shows how to display or have a piano in the room and make it work. This is one end of the living room. And this is a house that was built later, probably in the 80s or 90s. But my client is very, very well versed in architecture. And she added moldings and all kinds of beautiful things in there that made the house look very interesting and certainly more detailed. And then the next one is a house in London that was I got to do. In fact, I got to do 3 houses for this same couple in London. And this was a house in Belgravia that I have no idea when it was built, but a long, long time ago. And it belonged to Jane Churchill, and she sold it to them. And then, but it was very interesting to do that house. And there are several other floors too. But that's 2 views of the living room. This is back to the Austin house I mentioned earlier, and I don't have the name of this architect, but it was built in the 1920s. And then this house is a modern house that we did, one of the best modern houses we've ever done in Paradise Valley in Arizona. And we have beautiful art in here, and the walls are all made with big pieces of stone, and the walls from the outside are the walls on the inside. It's a very interesting house. It's gorgeous to be in it. And they wanted warm and really cozy furniture and fabrics inside. And so we were able to do that with what we put inside, the rugs and the furniture and all that. So they wanted a mix of old and new. And this is another photograph, 2 photographs actually, of the house, our country house. I think you saw the other one before. And the one on the right is a window seat in the same room. And that was Goodwin and Tatum who designed that house. And then this is dining at home. And that's my daughter and me setting the table for Thanksgiving. I think that's what it was. And we can turn the page. Okay, and this on the left is back to the Hal Thompson house that I wanted to show, their dining room. And I like to mix in antiques, and she had several antiques already that we used in this house. It made it more interesting. And the house on the right is in Pemberton Heights in Austin. And that dining room we certainly created with a big mix of, well, mainly everything in there is old. It's primarily antiques. And then this is a house that was also done in Dallas, and it's the dining room, and they have lots of modern art, but she mixed it in with some lovely George III chairs. Those are really pretty in the room and add a lot to the room. The antiques do. And then this is a more modern house, which you'll see in a minute. You'll see the outside of it in Bluffview in Dallas. And we used more modern furniture in this house. So that's okay. And then this is called Easy Living, this chapter. And that's my dog and me. My dog actually likes to pose. And so she really loved doing that. And she'll pose on any picture she could possibly get into. But this is easy living, meaning your more casual spaces in your house and what you use in them. And I can't see, I'm on my phone. I can't see as well. Okay, this is, that's okay. The library in the country house that we have that I love. Jim and I use this room all the time. And we love that room. Cozy, relatively small, but everybody always wants to sit in that room in our house. And then this is a wonderful solarium that was in the Hal Thompson house. And they decided to use it instead of as a solarium, as a breakfast room. And I love that it turned out that way, but there's lovely chairs you can sit in there, and you can, they can play games there when they're not eating and so forth. So, and that's the original tile. The only thing we changed is we added a raffia wall covering to the walls. And this is, they added this on to the Hal Thompson house here in Dallas. It was built in 1905 on the other side of the solarium. There wasn't a balance there. So this was added, and it turned out really, really well. And so this is his office through those doors that you see. And then they have a bar, which is nice because lots of people like having a place that everybody can go in and sit down before dinner and that kind of thing. So that's what this is. It's more of a bar, but then it leads into his office. This is a casual seating area in a house that we did here in Dallas that's newer. And this was a long hallway that they wanted to be interesting. And the minute I saw it, I thought, I know exactly how this needs to look. And so we did lots of wicker and really fun things in this room. I really love this room. Okay, this is called Dreamtime. And this is all about bedrooms. And so this is just a shot of me, lifestyle shot of me doing something I never do, which is eat breakfast in bed. But anyway, that was the idea for that particular shot. Okay. And this is a beautiful bedroom that we just finished. And I love the colors in this room. This doesn't have anything historic about it, but I did like the way this looked. And you see the vintage lamps, and you see other things in here that are classic, not brand new. And this is a house also in Preston Hollow. And she used the Gracie wall covering, and I think it looks so pretty in here. It's so bright and fresh. And there's a sofa over in the window that I love that's very 70s. So there's a nice mix in this room. And then this is our bedroom at our country house. And the other end of it on the right-hand side is near the bookcases, which are across the room. We have them on either side of the bed. We have a library, and we have tons of bookcases in there, but we needed more, so we added them up here. And I really like the way they look in a bedroom. And then this is called a room of one's own. And I'm just straightening and sort of working on my room here at our townhouse, which is the office. And it looks, I think I don't know what I'm doing, actually straightening something on the coffee table. but I do love that room. It's very private and very, very fun room to be in. People like that room. The ones that go into it, they're like, oh, I love this room. And then next we have a beautiful library in Tulsa, a house that was built there about probably 15 years ago. And then on the right-hand side, we have a beautiful office in Dallas, in a Dallas house that we did. It has a mix of antiques as well. This is a private space, a dressing room in the Paradise Valley house that was designed by Marwan Al Sayed. He also designed a hotel in Gary in Utah. And then this is called Glamour Outdoors because it is so important to me that we can bring glamour outside just as well as we can have it inside. And I like for it to look like a room. And we always, when we're entertaining, we always put lamps outside. And it's just a very, very fun way to entertain, as long as you kind of bring the indoors out. And this house is the Hal Thompson house I mentioned earlier. That's the exterior of it. I love this house. I think it's such a beautiful house. And they did add on to it, but it is very, very well done. This is the Austin house on the right. That's the front of it. And then the other side is an outdoor area in Tulsa. And then this is outdoor here in Dallas. I've shown several shots of this house, the bedroom and the living room. And she did triage there, and I think it added a lot to the luxury of the house. This is the backyard of the house in Dallas, and it's really pretty, and I just wanted to show that particular one. And then this is the back of our house out in the country, and it is, I love the back area back there, and it's this was designed again by Goodman and Tatum. And then we have the last chapter, which is finishing touches. And you know that I'm giving you just like 2 or 3 pictures from each one. So there's over 200 photographs in the book. This particular one is one of my favorites because I think a lot of times people just are not sure what to do when it comes to accessorizing. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I really put a lot of thought into it. And so that's what this is about, is accessorizing. There's a coffee table there with favorite things that people have that they want to look at when they sit down. Some people want things more clean. That's my coffee table here in the townhouse. And I just love the coffee table. Everything I look at on it always tends to make me happy. And then this is a table that is next to my bed with a lot of favorite things that really mean a lot to me personally. There's a little picture of my mom there. There's 2, I collect clocks, French clocks. Those are clocks that I've brought back. So just a lot of really meaningful things to me. And let me see what's over here on this side. Oh yeah, the top picture is the image of the way we group things together on the table in the solarium of the house that I said had the original tile, where she decided to have that be a breakfast room. And then the bottom picture is accessorizing in a more modern house. And that's a beautiful painting there. I think it's Terry Winters. I hope I'm saying that right. And then the next page, barware, how to display barware. That's another example of that, which is so much fun to do. And then this is showing you how to accessorize with art, mirror, a collection of ceramics on one end, a lamp on the other end. Just that's just a fun way to accessorize a pretty simple credenza. And then this is back in Austin, and this just shows how art and objects in bookcases can be displayed. And there's the cover of the book, Glamorous Living.
Thank you, Jan. So I put up a little thank you here to our sponsors as well.
Okay.
To add that to the in here, but here I'll go back to your book title for a second while we ask the question. So if anybody has a question, please feel free to put that into the chat, and we'll say those aloud so that Jan doesn't have to try to do that on her phone here.
Okay, it's fine. I'm familiar with all the photographs, so that would be easy. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please ask. I tried not to take too long because I know everybody's kind of like in the middle of the day. So I didn't want to take too long, but any questions you have, I'd love.
So, let's see, looks like we have one, and it's, which book has been your favorite?
Well, my favorite was Glamorous Rooms until this came out. And so many people love this book because of the personal touch of, seeing the old images from my family. And so kind of right now it's a tie with me with Glamorous Rooms and Glamorous Living. And they both have, this new one has my new fabric that's coming out in September from Kravit on the cover, on the hardcover. And the first book, Glamorous Rooms, has another really pretty fabric that we call snow leopard on it. And most people end up taking the dust covers off because they like the way the books look. Glamorous Retreats is done with raffia. So they all look great together. But I would say for me right now, I can't quite decide. I think if you want to know what I think about design and how to start out and do it in a room, I would definitely say Glamorous Rooms you should buy. But Glamorous Living is fun.
Awesome. Another question was, do you use, excuse me, do you use the same photographer for all of your rooms? And then do you also use a stylist?
I style most of them, but I do use a stylist to do flowers and help me with all that, of course. And then I do, I think that's very important. And most of the time magazines will send a stylist, and we have one here in Dallas that we absolutely love too. And so, yeah. So usually the photographer, it depends on, they're not all this. Well, I will take that back. Glamorous Retreats was all done by Jeff McNamara. The first book was taken from all of the work I'd done for years. So that book was tons of different photographers. Glamorous Living was from, I don't know how many different ones. I would say probably could be up to 12 or 15, because some were from magazines, and magazines always send different people to work. And that's why we had so many different ones in the last one. I hope that answers your question.
I think so. So another question here is, do you have a standard approach when designing a new project?
A standard approach? Not really, because what I like to do is meet with my potential clients and really sit and talk to them for a good while. I like to do that for at least an hour or 2 hours and find out what they like to do, what their reason is, what we need to know all of this before we decide to take on a project or whether they decide to take us on. And so, yeah, it's a definite process, and they're all different. That's why I love high-end residential, because it's very much about the person I'm dealing with, very much.
Another question here. Do you feel like your clients come to you for your aesthetic, or do you find yourself trying other designs based on the client's needs?
I would say a little bit of both. A lot of people come in with my books in their hands with pages marked because they like those. So there's that. But then there are also people who I've worked with before, and they bought a more modern house and they want it more modern. And of course, we love to do that too. So it really depends on who it is. That's what's so great about what I do. It's very varied. So yeah, that's why I like it.
I think I've caught up to the questions that had been popped in the beginning there.
Okay.
Let's see.
There's some people who like prints. There's some people who want lots of prints in their house. That's fun. Then there are people who want it to be really soothing, and it's going to be, more all one color or a mix of solid colors. And there are other people who want lots and lots of accessories, and they love that very, very layered look. And then there are other people who don't like that look, So it's like, that's a hard question to answer, actually.
Another question is, do you have a favorite color or pattern to use right now?
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's hard. That would be really hard for me to
Picking a favorite
choose. I used in Kips Bay last year. We had the first Kips Bay in Dallas last year, and we're having it again this year, which we're so excited. And I'm sharing it again with my co-chairs, Jean Lou and Chad Dorsey. And anyway, I used a beautiful pattern called Lodi Garden for the drapery. And I love that fabric, but it would have to be used in a certain place. And I only like it really in one colorway. So I mean, that's a favorite of mine right now, but there's so many beautiful fabrics out there. And I will say I'm using a lot of prints now. But it just really depends on the client and what they want, what makes them feel good. There's so much dependent on that. I don't want to come in and say, you need to do this. That's just not what I do. I don't do that. That's what makes it fun. You're getting to do something different every time.
Let's see, I have an individual one here. It looks like, how has your individual style evolved over the years, if it has, or do you think it's been consistent?
Oh, no, I think certain things are consistent. I like comfort. I like people to be super comfortable in their rooms. That almost is number one to me. And I want to know how they live, so I know exactly where we're going to need TVs, where we're going to need a game table, all those kinds of things. So as far as evolving, of course it has evolved. That's hard to explain, but I've been doing this for over 30 years. If I told you the real number, I wish I don't want to do, but it's over 30 years. Anyway, it's something that is, always evolving. And I go to Paris every year and buy antiques for my business, and love doing that. And there's always such inspiration there, and everywhere we travel, there is. And so all of a sudden I'll see something and I'm like, oh, this is just great right now. And something I'll see in Paris, it's like that probably will happen 4 or 5 years before I see it happen over here as much. And I guess because the French are just such amazing decor addicts, And all the guys over there and women over there who are dealers are always looking for the next best thing. And sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes that doesn't work. But Wicker started becoming huge over there about really probably 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And so I started using it a lot, mixing it in with other pieces that were dressier. And everybody liked it, you know. So that yes, it changes for that reason too. And also it can change because you have a client come to you and they say, oh, I'm really into so such and such. And you end up, you know, liking that. And so it kind of just depends on who the client is and also how I'm influenced when I go on these trips.
Another question is, so which room is your favorite in your home currently?
Oh, well, let's see. Here in Dallas, the townhouse, goodness, I like every room really. But I am really crazy about our bedroom here. I love our bedroom. It's where I get a lot of work done. I shouldn't be doing it there, but sometimes I do. And then I also love the office, the office sitting room that we have here. I love the living room. I actually like every room here, if you want to really. But in our other house in the country, probably the library is my favorite room. But I also like the sunroom and the living room and the dining room. Oh, I'm kind of naming them all. Yeah, yeah. But if I had to choose the one I want to sit in, I would choose the library. Yeah.
So a question here is, I like that you travel to make purchases for clients. Where is the most interesting place that you have shopped for a client?
Oh gosh, just going to Paris and getting to go to all the places I've gone for 25 years. They all have depots, you know, places that everything is stacked up. They all, I mean, you get to know these people, and then I let them know I'm coming about 6 weeks before we're coming, and then they are ready for us to be there and know what we're going to, you know, be looking for, you know, in general. And that just excites me, you know, and I to think of one, oh gosh, I really, you know, I get inspired by many on the left bank, in the Carre. I love that. I always love to see what Yves Gastus has and which direction he's going, because he's always going in a very forward direction. But then there are people I've dealt with for years and years who have taught me so much about all of that, all of the decorative items there. So I can't name one person, but I'm just excited to go to Paris and shop.
A question here is, how has COVID changed your business?
You know, we had a really busy year last year. We had a project in Lake Forest, and very interesting, wonderful house. It hasn't been photographed yet. It was done by Harry Lindbergh, and a gorgeous estate. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Lake Forest, but it has really true estates in it. It's so gorgeous. It's about 30 minutes out of Chicago. And so we were able to do this house, and we basically focused on it. We also installed 2 other houses here in Dallas, and that was also fun too. But there was a big focus on the house in Lake Forest, and so we got that done, got it installed, and it didn't get installed until, I'm trying to think. This year's been so weird for me, trying to remember a date something happened is really odd. I think it was in November. I believe it was in November of last year we got it primarily installed. We had another installation in the last few weeks. But that was really challenging and wonderful, and a huge house. So we were busy. And then COVID, this year, what's happening is everybody wants their house done. And it's unfortunate because, you know, we're really, really, really busy. I'll say that. We're very, very busy, and we're thrilled about that. But we've had to take on new people, and so it's all been good. It's all good.
Question here is, what are some of the different design trends you've seen between the different regions in Texas?
Yeah, there are different design trends everywhere. I know that because I have a furniture line that has been represented at 8 different showrooms around the US, and it does vary. Houston, let's say, I think is a bit more casual than Dallas is, but they're both kind of getting to be more the same, I think. I think Fort Worth is also very, I think it reminds me of Dallas pretty much. I mean, I do see some more casual things over there. Austin, the house in Austin that house was very, I thought very well done, but very dressy. And then I did a house for them in Crested View that was very more laid back. So it just depends on where you are. But we have been around, our furniture company has been around, Jan Shower's collection has been around for 22 years now. And so we have decided to bring all of that into under our roof. So it's now you just will buy direct from me, from us. And that's going to be interesting to see, because there is different taste in San Francisco than there is in Los Angeles, and there is, you know, all around the nation, it's that way.
Awesome. Let's see. I think we caught up again here on the questions. Oh, here's one. Are you doing anything fun to celebrate your 25th anniversary?
Yes, we are. In fact, we're in the midst of planning that now. The 25th anniversary is in September. That's when we opened. We opened exactly where we are now. And then we were lucky enough to get the showroom next door. And so that was fun. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a celebration, a party at the showroom. It's going to probably be during Texas Design Week and right before Kips Bay opens. So that all is happening here, and hope all of you can come to all of this. It's going to be such fun, because Kips Bay, Texas Design Week from Paper City, and then our own celebration is going to be all September, and then Kips Bay goes into October as well.
This question is kind of going back a teeny bit. So in a similar vein with the travel, was there a particular piece over the years that's been your favorite find?
Well, certainly one of them that comes to my mind is the chandelier that we have in the house in the country. I love that chandelier. We found it. It happened to be our anniversary, and we found it. It was designed by Belgravia, by Andre Arbus, and it's really unique. It's really different, and I think that's definitely, that came to my mind right away. I love that. I love that chandelier. So yeah, I can answer that with just one thing.
Easy one.
Yeah.
Well, I think if anyone else has any questions, we might have time for one more here. Otherwise, we don't want to keep you too long, Jan. I know you've been answering a lot of questions here.
Oh no, I'm fine. I love it. I really love answering questions. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Alrighty, let's see. That looks like we might be all set here. Give a couple more seconds for someone to speed type.
Huh.
Let's see.
I will mention that I do hope everybody plans to come to Kips Bay this year. We have a gorgeous house. We're so excited. It was not easy to get because there's such a bubble with the housing market right now. But we have a gorgeous house. It's on Deloach in Dallas, and I'm really excited about that. And it will open on. There'll be a preview opening on the 23rd, and then it will open to the public on the 24th and go until October 24th. So it's well worth coming to. Yeah.
It's great that was a question that came up, was what the dates are for Kips Bay. So you went ahead and
yeah, those are the dates. And the house is wonderful, and we have some amazing designers I can't reveal yet. But we're very excited about that.
Awesome. Well, last question that came in here is, when is your next book coming out?
Well, I figured somebody might ask that. It's going to take me, I'm like, how many years was it between 2009 and 13? 4 years. Okay, then this one was more than that. I don't know. There are a lot. I will say this: there are so many houses we have to photograph right now that are really beautiful, that I know there will be another book. I know there will be. And it's just a matter of if that's going to start next year or it's going to be the next year. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but it will be within the next couple of years that we'll do another book. It won't come out until the year after we finish getting it done. But I absolutely love doing books. I mean, that's just one of my favorite things to do. Gathering the photographs. I have a wonderful art editor at Abrams. She's so great. And for Abrams, she did Ralph Lauren's book, and they did the Vogue book, all the Vogue books, and also Tori's book. Tori, Birch. Yeah.
Well, awesome. I'm going to put in the chat the link to the book again. Just
okay.
Everyone's, and then I'll scroll down here just again. Thank you to our sponsors. And thank you to you as well, Jan. We're just so excited to have you. And it was great to have you here today. So if you want to purchase the book, check out the link that's in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be sending it out to you guys as well in case you miss it, just in the next couple minutes or whatnot. But
well, that's great, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to do this and getting to sort of visit with everybody. Sort of. I wish I were there. I wish we were all in a room together.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to go ahead then and close this out here. Again, thank you. And everyone, I just hope you have a great rest of your day. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Awesome.